America's change from agrarian society to industrial society resulted in a period of economic and political change called the Age of Reform. One of these reforms was called the Women's Rights Movement.
Women at this time did not have the rights to vote, had extremely limited property rights, and gave up most of their rights when they married. However, the inspiration for a reform came from the social changes of the time. This includes the separate spheres concept, which was the idea that a man's job was to work and be a political leader, and a woman's job was to guard the morality and benevolence of her family.
This idea, which was the result of a great difference between work and home due to the new market economy, led women to join the temperance movement or the abolition movement in order to do their duty and protect their society. Being involved in these movements gave women enthusiasm to work for a cause.
Transcendentalism greatly influenced women. With an emphasis on emotion as opposed to logic and reason, women were able to choose who they married. This gave them more power and a desire for freedom of choice elsewhere. Women were also marrying later in life, having fewer children, and had more time to participate in protests. The women's rights movement had multiple members. A few prominent members would include Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Stanton, and Lucretia Mott.
Anthony had taught for 15 years and was active in the temperance movement. When she wasn't allowed to speak at temperance rallies, she and Elizabeth Stanton joined the women's rights movement in 1852. Together they founded the National Women's Suffrage Association. Stanton also called together the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848 with Mott after being denied entrance to the World Anti-Slavery Convention for being a woman in London, 1840. Stanton wrote the Declaration of Sentiments with the assistance of Mott. Elizabeth Stanton also advocated property rights for women, for married women, and divorce laws.
The goal of the women's rights movement was to make women equal to men economically, socially, and politically. They wanted to fix problems in the women's education system, create more job opportunities for women, give women more individual rights, and create more political and financial opportunities for women. They believed that an amendment to the Constitution would help them to do this.
The actual outcome of the women's rights movement was the 19th Amendment that was ratified in 1920 and gave women the right to vote and expanded their property owning rights. This major achievement was a huge step towards equality, but was very difficult to accomplish. Hundreds of women were arrested for protesting their inequality. They carried on with their work even while being suppressed.
The women's rights movement continues today with a focus on many diverse issues, including reproductive rights, sexual harassment, and the glass ceiling. Women are inspired by historical figures like Susan B. Anthony, Lucretia Mott, and Elizabeth Stanton.